Here are the answers to the saved search quiz. For question 1, the answer is none. We do not want any consolidated exchange rate to be applied when we need local currency amounts. The answer to question 2 is to create a login audit trail search where we have criteria set to security challenge equals failure. In other words, we're looking for unauthorized access to our account where attempts have failed. If you see lots of failed attempts, that could mean someone is trying to access your account. For question 3, the answer is to create an item saved search and remember to make it public so that it's available for selection as part of a custom transaction form. The answer for question 4 is to add a custom formula field to your saved search that includes a hyperlink to the underlying transaction type, so that when you click on that hyperlink, it's going to take you to the record instead of taking you to the drill down of that grouped saved search. For question 5, you will need to configure your saved search to send emails according to schedule, but not summarize scheduled emails because you want every result to be sent. So that means you need to have summarized scheduled emails set to false. It's going to send one email per result in the saved search. The answer to question 6 is that the saved search results will include a row for each system note. And that's why it appears that your results are duplicative, because if you have 10 system notes logged on a record, it's going to produce those results 10 times over, as opposed to 1 or maybe 2, depending upon the number of transaction rows that exist on a given record. The answer to question 7 is that in the results tab, you can check the run unrestricted checkbox to grant access to saved search results for users that don't typically have access to the underlying records. Make sure you use that sparingly. You're overriding the system security permissions that are in place. The answer to question 8 is that you cannot display the number of results in a summarized saved search in a dashboard reminder. So if you've tried that, you'll see that the number displayed is 0, when in fact, if you click on that 0, the hyperlink to the underlying saved search results will be a number other than 0, typically. So you can't rely upon that number. The answer to question 9 is really all about the format. So you need to make sure that end is added to the right-hand side of your formula, and you need to use the word else instead of otherwise. And don't forget to use single quotation marks when you're referencing a field ID value, not the double. The answer to question 10 is numeric. So that saved search function, number as time, has the field type of numeric. That might have caught you out if you were thinking it might be date, time, but it's a numeric type. The answer to question 11 is that administrators, as well as controllers in the finance department, can access the saved search. And that's because in the audience tab, the role and department conditions both have to be met. So it's not an or condition here for those two particular attributes, it's an and condition. So don't forget that. The answer to question 12 is really, just understanding the expression and where the parentheses need to exist. So the correct answer is A, where the state is Washington and the sales rep is sales rep A, or the state is New York and it's sales rep B. So just make sure you have those conditions and brackets in the right place. All right, for question 13, the answer is that the highlighting will follow throughout NetSuite where saved search results are visible, which is really handy, right? Whether that's on a dashboard or you're running the saved search manually, that formatting, that highlighting is going to carry through. All right. Okay, the answer for question 14 is going to make sure you're using the null if function and making sure that you're taking the quantity billed as a percentage of the total quantity, not the other way around. For question 15, this one's a bit more involved, and it's really, again, looking at a more detailed formula and making sure that the formatting is correct. Now, all of the options are similar, but the equals 0 is what you're looking for. And that's because when we're using that in-string function here, the instr, when it can't find that specific character, in this case the colon, it's going to return the value of 0, and that's what we're looking for. And then the rest of the formula follows as you would expect. Question 16 is similar in that it's another kind of heavy formula, and you really just need to make sure that the syntax is correct and that you're referencing the right values. Again, we're using an in-string function, and in this case, we're looking to reference the value high, and then we're going to use the decode function to map it to the value of very likely. You'll see that we're referencing the digit 1, and that's basically just checking that the value of high is found at the beginning of the collectability status field. And in this case, we've been told that there are only 3 unique values, so we know that high, when selected, is going to be at the beginning of that string. This method isn't the most robust necessarily, but it works in this case because we have that small kind of fixed list of values in the field that we're referencing. So for question 17, you may know that not all field values are accessible in an account saved search. In fact, most of these are not. The only one that is accessible is the cash flow rate type, and you can go check that out yourself as well. These other fields that are commonly used on the GL account record in NetSuite are not available through for a saved search in the system. The answer to question 18 is the script deployment log. That is not a valid default saved search type in the system. Now, theoretically, it would be possible to, create a custom record named script deployment log to achieve that, but then it wouldn't be a native saved search type. It would be a custom one. So moving on to question 19, this is where we're building a transaction saved search. We're looking for transactions where main line is false. So we're just looking at the line level. And then we are also excluding any of those tax lines at the line level. And that's why the answer is we're looking for all non-tax lines at the line level. And last but not least, for question 20, we're going to talk this one through. So we have an invoice with value of US dollar, 10,500. But it was entered into a Canadian subsidiary with an exchange rate of 1.2. So we're going to multiply that out, and you get 12,600 Canadian dollars. Well, then you need to multiply it by 0.9 to take that back to the USD functional currency of the consolidated entity. When you take that 12,600, you multiply it by 0.9, you get to the correct value of 11,340. So I hope you enjoyed the quiz. You might see more quizzes in the future. If you have any questions or concerns about the quiz itself or the answers, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.